I believe that AGAPE has performed a wonderful service beyond what we would have imagined at the time of its beginning.
I don't have any idea that we thought it would ever be what it is today, but there were dreams.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
I've been the executive director of Georgia AGAPE for over 15 years now and have seen a great deal of good being accomplished. We put together this video to celebrate something very special, our 40th anniversary as an agency. That's 40 years of showing unconditional love to many children and families. We've interviewed a variety of people who've been involved with our ministry or been touched by our services. I believe the inspiration which got AGAPE going in the early years is the same motivation that sustains our work today. It's a belief in the tremendous cause of caring for those in need. Here is our story.
Early in 1968, I was approached by Stanley Blackman, who had been a fellow student at David Lipscomb along with Max Johnson. And Stanley had an idea that we needed to begin in Atlanta to have an organization that would assist churches in caring for orphans and help them to adopt children that needed homes. I was working with Greater Atlanta Christian School and had entree to many congregations and knew a great many people.
There were three of them, Stanley Blackman and Roger and Max Johnson. And then they brought me and Carl Mitchell and John Witt. And they met at the old Cascade Heights Church of Christ, and each one brought a member with them, and that night we had the first actual board meeting. I'm guessing within 6 months we probably had a dozen members. Lots of challenges. First of all, finding a director in the Church of Christ was difficult. And imagine trying to raise money. We thought if we could get so many members at $150 a piece, we could do it. You look back over the thing and I say this was God's work or it wouldn't have made it.
It's been a thrill to see how the work has grown, and I think the present administration has particularly fulfilled the mission that we had in mind at the time that Stanley and others came along and desired to see that work begun.
When I worked on the board of directors, we saw that we were going to be outgrowing those two little rooms very quickly. And so the Smyrna Church provided us a little house to be the offices. This is Libby Gray. She was the first baby that AGAPE adopted into a Christian home, and she spent the first night out of the hospital in my home, in my arms, and I've loved her ever since.
Undoubtedly, my life would be drastically different without the influence of AGAPE. I feel blessed, and I know that God had a plan for me and put me here. My prayer is that AGAPE will continue for many more years and help hundreds more children to shape their lives in a positive way and to show them the love of God and to show them His plan for them.
Of all the experiences I've had in my professional career, working with Georgia AGAPE has been among the best, primarily because of what we do. We stand for children, especially those children who are deprived, and we've tried to find ways to provide services for them. And I hope that each of us will spend time and money and energy and resources to protect and support Georgia AGAPE.
We just want to say how grateful we are for Georgia AGAPE. 5 years ago, we prayed and prayed, and we were blessed with this little redhead over here named Emma.
And then a few years later, we started the process to adopt again. And we got the exciting phone call from AGAPE that we had been blessed with this pretty beautiful little girl, Lila. We feel so blessed that we've been able to start our family through adoption, and we have two beautiful girls, Lila and Emma.
Well, I was at a retreat with my young grandson, Zan, and the teacher was going around the children's class asking the different children where they're from. One little girl had come with her grandmother from Tennessee, and one little girl had come from a church group up in New York with friends and her family. And when they got to Zan, and they said, "Zan, where are you from?" He says, "Well, I'm not real sure." He says, "I think it's this company called AGAPE."
I think our foster parents go beyond the rules and regulations that are required of them. They take that Christian service and they help the children and the families in a deeper way. I was at a church just this last Sunday, and the preacher got up in the pulpit and made the statement that he had visited with the state and that Agape always takes the difficult children. That made me feel really good. It also made me proud of my foster families because they're the ones that really do the hard work.
I can't say enough about the kind of people who have been foster parents through Agape. They've taken babies all the way up to teenagers. And most, I think, would tell you that they've received more blessings than they ever gave. As a former foster parent myself, I know that was true for our family.
We've had a lot of kids from a lot of different backgrounds.
We've had 13.
13 are home now, so...
It has been such a blessing to our family. We have 3 daughters. As soon as, a sibling group or whatever leaves our home, our daughters are saying, when are we going to get the next one? They're so excited. It's been a real blessing, for our family to be able to do this.
We've had at least 8 through Agape placed in our home, and we took on a teenager and it opened up a whole new world of fostering.
Right. The teenager that we have had left our home and returned back, and that was all through the work of Agape. We love this child. Only because of Agape went the extra step to bring her back home again. This is her home.
We wanted to welcome kids into our home. We're both very loving people, and we wanted to share that love with kids. So it just so happened that Agape introduced us to the most wonderful 2 kids in the world. Best things that have really happened to our lives.
The organization has been very supportive with us in making sure that we raise our kids correctly. We can call them at any time. They're there to help us and support us for anything and everything. We love Agape.
I started working in Agape as a volunteer, and the opportunity presented itself for me to actually work with the organization as the first director of development. And it was exciting. It really wasn't work. It was something that I enjoyed doing thoroughly. It was an easy case to build. I enjoyed seeing other people that love the organization and giving them an opportunity to give to their favorite charity. So it was really the greatest opportunity I've had.
I love Georgia Agape because they've helped me through everything. They gave me my first Christmas. I was adopted at the age of 6. When I came to this new family, the family before them promised me that they were going to adopt me. And a week later, I was on my way to another house. I didn't want to live there. I figured if my family before that was going to do that, this family did the same thing. Did some really bad stuff to try to get them just to get rid of me. And they were going to stick with me through thick and thin. I have a great family now. They've put me through school. They've taught me lessons, life lessons. I'm absolutely thrilled that I finally found a family that wants to keep me and that would put up with all the that I gave them, because I gave them a lot.
We had a problem with one of the children. It was one of those nebulous problems that you just couldn't fix.
And we'd been to therapists, physical therapy, occupational therapy, MRIs, neurologists, and it was just constant, and they couldn't find anything.
Our caseworker suggested that we pray about it.
What he said was, we'll pray about it here. The burden was shared. And it was just so much better. It was just such a relief.
AGAPE is facing some important changes in everything from how the state approaches foster care to new opportunities to reach out to birth mothers and expand our adoption services and to expand other services to families. We have a wonderful staff. We're really blessed with the leadership of the agency, and I know everyone that works at the agency appreciates the support of so many for Georgia AGAPE.
Yes, AGAPE has made a tremendous difference in many lives. I believe the services we provide connect with the very heart of God, as we know from the Scriptures how much He cares about the fatherless, the oppressed, the disadvantaged, the poor, and those who Jesus called the least of these. Aside from the mission of the church, I believe there is no greater ministry than the work of AGAPE. And so, as we look to the future, we know that we need your continued support and involvement in our ministry, as it's only by doing this work together that we can be successful. Thank you, and may God bless you.
You look back over the thing and I say this was God's work, or it wouldn't have made it. And it has.
'Twas great.